So after I told you the story how I found the right firm for me, I want to walk you through the 5 steps that I see in order to choose the right firm for you. So basically the 5 steps are the following. Step number 1 is that you really sit down and think about the 5 criteria that are the most important to you. And those can be, all criteria. We will talk about possible criteria in a second, okay? It doesn't matter. It's just important that you think about it and be honest to yourself and write down those criteria. This is very, very important. Step number 2 is that you weight each criteria by importance, okay? And you can also just make a rank. I mean, you don't have to weight them, but if you want to kind of prioritize those criteria, you can give them a rank. Step number 3 is that you make a list of possible firms, and this is a tip: don't only go for the big brands. Take a broader look at the market out there. So if you're at the very beginning and you don't really have an idea, you could also make a cluster. If you talk about, the strategy firms, maybe then the big fours, maybe technology firms, specialized firms, and so on. If you're more experienced, and this is definitely something that I recommend, is that you get in touch with those companies, or, ask your friends, then, you can be more precise and rank the different firms. Step number 4 is that you then do the research and try to find out, how you can evaluate those firms. So maybe, you make internships, maybe you talk, to people, maybe you meet those companies on career fairs. It doesn't matter how you get to that evaluation. It's just important that you have some kind of reference that will help you to make this evaluation. And step number 5 is finally that you target the firm that rank highest in your evaluation. And those are the 5 steps that I applied for myself. You can do that in a very, analytical way by, weighting all of those categories, then, make it a kind of calculation for that. Or you could also, just do it in a qualitative way where you rank the criteria, rate in high, medium, low, or something like that. And, then just think about it. Something that I can also recommend, or that I want to give you as a tip, is that, depending on your where you are in your process, it's totally natural that, this framework and evaluation changes over time. So maybe if you are just at the beginning and you don't know much about the consulting industry, do the reflection nevertheless. So think about the criteria and then do the evaluation based on the knowledge that you have. And it's very normal that this evaluation will change over time, because the more experience you get, the older you get, the more you become clear about the criteria and about the different characteristics of those firms. Okay, so it's totally natural if you do this kind of evaluation in several stages of your own career. Okay, so be aware of that. Now, the big question is, what kind of criteria should you apply? And there are many different criteria that you could choose from, but the most common that I see is, for example, work-life balance. Okay, so which means the workload. So how much do you have to work if you work for that firm? Also, we talked about MBB, prestige and brand is certainly something that is very important for most people. Internationality might also be a criteria. So if you say that you want to travel around the world, that you maybe want to spend some years on another continent or so, then internationality should be a very important factor for you. Maybe it's even the location. So if you live in, let's say in Berlin, in Germany, then maybe you're looking for a company that offers offices in Berlin, okay? Or if you are living somewhere in the countryside, maybe that's important to you. Okay, so location might also be a factor. Then salary and benefits certainly is also a factor. What I see is that the older generations focused more probably on salary and benefits. I see now that, the younger generations are more focused on work-life balance. It doesn't matter if it's important for you, put it on your list, as it was, to be frank, it was for me. If it's not important for you, then just leave it out. It's totally fine. Then exit opportunities might be something, you know, maybe this company, or maybe you want to join a certain sector, maybe you want, you know, use this consulting career in order to, you know, make a step up to another career level in another company, okay? Or maybe you want to become very specialized in a certain industry, and therefore you might be looking more for a specialized firm, okay? Doesn't matter, so exit opportunities might be a factor as well. Another thing is people and culture, and this is, you know, obviously very individual, because highly depending on what kind of people you like, what kind of culture you like, this might also be a factor. And there might be hundreds of other factors that I haven't thought of, okay? So this again is a very, very individual topic, and those criteria should reflect your thinking and your preferences, okay? And it's important, or it's just important, that you come up with a list of 5 criteria that are important to you. So that's it for the 5-step framework so far. And in the next chapter, we will talk a little bit about those 2 aspects, work-life balance and salary and benefits, because, you know, for those 2 factors, we have pretty good data, you know, to give you an idea what kind of firms or what kind of workload you should expect if you work for what kind of firm, and also what kind of salary you can expect if you work for what kind of firm. But it's very difficult, you know, to rank people and culture, for example, or internationality. So this is too complex, you know, to do that for many companies. So we only will do a deep dive on those first 2 aspects, because they're typically the most important, and you have to do your own research about all the other factors. So with that being said, next lesson will be about the deep dive of work-life balance, so working hours and salaries in management consulting.